Hey, what's up, you guys? Nick here. So, the title of this video. Not every Kodak moment needs to be photographed. It's kind of an interesting one, being that any moment I've had a camera in my hands the last almost 3 years now since I started the channel. It'll be 3 years in September. I have been creating content. Now, to be 100% fair with all of you, I don't set out truly to really make content. I mean, there has been a point in this channel's time where, yeah, a lot of it was planning to make content, trying to make content and all that. And if you've noticed a lot of my videos lately, if it's not a philosophy video or a gear review of some sort, it's all really behind the scenes stuff. You know, I strap on a GoPro, or Nick's running his Canon R5C and he's doing behind the scenes stuff. And really what it is I just really like taking photographs, and my main focus in that is to take the photographs, and I just like making the videos because it's a fun and an enjoyable experience for me. So I like to make a lot of content that I want to make in that case. But recently, Holly and I went to Colorado Fan Expo, and for those of you who don't know, Fan Expo is Comic-Con before or post Comic-Con getting sue happy. So Comic-Con started suing everyone who's using Comic-Con, and so now it's Fan Expo. And I brought my camera, much like I did with the Colorado Anime Fest, in order to get photos of cosplays. But I was enjoying the moment so much that I got a little bit of B-roll footage, and I didn't take any photos at all. I had my Sony A7 III strapped to my wrist. I had my 18mm Samyang 2.8 ready to go, and the camera, I didn't once turn it on. And actually, it got to a point about halfway through where I just put the camera away and enjoyed the Fan Expo. And so it was kind of this interesting moment where I was like, well, I didn't take any photos. I didn't create any content. I only got a little bit of B-roll, but I had a lot of fun. And it was kind of a moment where I was like, well, why did I do that? And so I was thinking about it, and it's like a lot of where my channel has shifted is like photography is my main priority. I mean, it's my main priority. It'll always be my main priority. But I still video every single time I do a photo session, and I still have some B-roll to throw up on YouTube because I like sharing my images. That's really the point of the YouTube channel, is sharing those images, sharing my experience, sharing what I do with others in a positive way so that it could encourage people to go out and take photos, show you that you don't always need like the newest, fanciest gear. You know, a lot of those older camera reviews that I've done, specifically in the Nikon area, that's what I was showcasing. As I see a lot of gatekeeping on beginner pages and the Nikon page and the Sony page and on the forums. And I'm not a huge fan of the gatekeeping, so I like to just kind of share my work and try to stay positive. And so in doing that, a lot of my videos have become that behind the scenes kind of thing, or philosophy. And even in the philosophy videos, I'm doing something else. It's never really me just sitting here talking with you, my audience, anymore. It's me talking about my feelings on the world of photography, my feelings on boudoir, my feelings on black and white photography, outdoor portraits. You know, I have a whole list of these philosophies, these rules I keep to myself. And so one of those philosophies that I realized in that moment at Fan Expo, and this is totally new to me, is not every Kodak moment needs to be photographed. You know, I have a goal every semester that I'm in school, and my goal is always try to make it to the end of the semester without burning out. And as ridiculous as that might sound, it's not just school. Like, I can do school just fine. If it was only school, I'd never burn out. I absolutely love school. It's my favorite thing. Probably one of my favorite things in the whole world is going to class and conversing and studying and researching and writing these papers. I absolutely love doing all of that stuff. And so I look at photography the same way, where I love reading about cameras, I love reading about photos, I love reading about new lighting setups, how light works with different materials, how backdrops absorb light, how they reflect light, where light should go, where light shouldn't go. And so it's this weird little pattern that I've created where like I'm always trying new lighting techniques and new different sets of lights, and I video it because I want to share it with you. My current kick right now is vintage lenses. I am in love with vintage lenses right now. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s film lenses. I have like 5 or 6 different adapters for the Sony, and I've got all these manual focus and aperture ring lenses that I've been playing with a lot. And you guys are going to see those videos as they come up. I've got a bunch of other behind the scenes studio stuff. And like, I was watching a video today where another photographer is quitting YouTube because the engagement isn't there, or his videos aren't doing all that great. And he doesn't like that he's kind of speaking to an empty room. And I approach every single one of my videos as if I'm speaking to an empty room. I mean, really, it's me talking to a camera. And the engagement that I do get, I absolutely love you guys. Those of you that comment regularly, interact with me. Actually, most of you don't even comment. You just send me messages on Facebook and Instagram. And I really appreciate that. I really love that interaction with all of you. But I don't approach YouTube as if this can be a career. I don't believe that I am a good enough photographer or good enough YouTuber, and I don't have the personality to really take YouTube serious as something I could do full time. I just really like making videos. I really like taking photos. And videos are just kind of a cool way to share that with people and kind of share my viewpoint on things in a way that it's almost like therapy. That's what those philosophy videos really are, including this one, is it's really therapeutic for me. And it really helps me like kind of see the world, especially when I'm editing it and I like go through and be like, well, it's a really interesting way. I didn't really know that that's how I looked at it until I said it out loud. And so I keep having these crazy epiphany moments and these crazy little moments where I realize something and it's like, wow, well, let's try to approach it from a different point of view. And one of the things about YouTube, one of the things that this other photographer brought up in their video was, negative interactions. And I have my fair share of negative interactions, specifically on R5C videos. Usually it's with videographers, and from what looking I have done, is the people that are most opinionated and tend to disagree with me generally don't actually own the camera. They're going off stats, or they claim they own the camera when they don't have any evidence that they own the camera. And people who actually owned the camera generally comment and agree with my gripes with it and agree with the positive points I made with it. But those negative interactions, there's really only one that I've ever had an issue with. He's been trolling my videos since like October or November of 2019, my very, very early uploads. And he makes it a point to not understand what I'm trying to do with my channel, and he's actually kind of become one of my favorite little fans, because I know that I'm doing something right if he reaches out to Jessica in particular. So Jessica, anytime I work with her and she posts on Instagram, he's a local photographer, he likes to message her about how terrible of a photographer I am. And when it first started happening, it really bugged me. But then it got to a point where it's like, okay, well, I'm trying new things, so not all of it's going to be great. And I still share it when it's not great. I want you guys to know that even if my photos suck, I still want to share with you my results. But the other thing too is I've gotten to a point now where if I'm in the studio and I'm like, I really want this look, I want this lighting, I want this very particular look, I can create that look. And I'm really happy with that. And I'm really glad that I'm able to share that all with you. But that burnout and that negativity and all of that is real. And so I want to encourage all of you photographers that are, sharing your images and you're getting negative feedback, or you're getting grumpy old men telling you that you're doing it wrong or anything like that. I'm not just going to say to ignore it, because ignoring it isn't going to help. That's not good advice. Try to get constructive feedback from the person being critical. And if they don't give you constructive criticism, then they're just full of it. They're just mad for the sake of being mad. And it is hard to ignore that stuff. But overall, go out, take photos, you guys. But just remember, the camera doesn't always need to be in your hand. Sometimes you need a break to reassess your skill, what you're doing, your technique, reassess what you want in photography. And sometimes it's nice to go out without a camera and look at the world through a photographer's eye. Just look at the world and be like, how would I frame that? How would I take that photo? So now you're not concentrating on your settings. You're not concentrating on lining up the photo. If you have the right lens, if your battery's okay, whether the lighting is okay, you're just working on composition. Because I did that at Fan Expo, and I thought to myself, like, how would I compose that photo? How would I compose that photo? And being able to just concentrate on composition, which is an area that I generally struggle with, overthinking of settings and the technical aspects of things, because again, the camera wasn't in my hand, I think really improved at least my mindset thinking about those things. And this is kind of a rough tangent, a kind of a rough philosophy video, because it's not something I've thought about a whole lot. Fan Expo was like a week ago or something like that, and it's just kind of all falling into place now. I was really thinking about it. I was disappointed that I didn't get any footage or photos, but now that I think back on it, I think that it was probably best for me to take that break. It prevents burnout, it prevents me overthinking things, but most of all, I was able to just kind of enjoy myself and enjoy the experience without really worrying about whether or not I got the photos, editing them, getting the video together, and throwing it up. Because ultimately, in the end, YouTube, as much as I love it, and as much as I love sharing this stuff and the community that I've created, YouTube doesn't always need to be priority number one. And granted, I don't treat my channel like priority number one, but I definitely know I prioritize it a little more than I told myself I would when I first started. So there you guys have it. That's my quick philosophy on not every Kodak moment needs to be photographed. I hope you enjoyed it. Go out, go take some photos, share your experiences down below. How do you unwind? How do you step away from the camera? Does it help you? Do you get burned out doing all this? I'd love to hear from you. I'll catch you all on the flip side. Bye.